right now. Kickstarter's live for those joining. The Kickstarter is already live. So what we need to do. I'll share this real quick.
Okay.
Why don't you pull up a chair here and talk for a minute? Because I got to share something.
Okay.
Hello, world.
Hello there. Hey. Welcome to the Kickstarter. What is this? 2019.
Yeah.
MOMO, Terror in the Skies, and On the Trail of Bigfoot. I am Mark Matsky,
Hey, Mark.
co-writer of things.
You sound so nervous.
I am nervous. I hate talking in front of people.
That's unfortunate.
Got $600 already.
Well, see, I'll keep talking then.
Did we really?
Yeah, right there.
I'm here
thank
with.
you for that donation.
Yeah.
Thank you for trying it out. If you want to try it out, try it out. You want to move in, you can move in.
What is your favorite monster or creature? That's a good place to start.
All right, let me. Why don't we?
Should we do intros?
Yeah, let's have everyone introduce themselves. Andy's completely gone. Is that because Andy? See, that's because everyone's sitting so far back.
There's no.
There he is. Andy's in here now. So I'm Seth Breedlove, Small Town Monsters director guy, and
the director guy.
Who are you?
Oh,
I'm Mark Matsky.
I am Mark Matsky, co-writer of things.
I'm Adrian Breedlove. I'm a producer.
I'm Zach. Where am I? Zach Palmasano. I work camera and cinematographer.
Jason Udis, I do sound design, I think.
And he's the main man.
Who else do we got in here?
We got Andy.
I'm Andy Matsky. I'm the associate producer. Is that it?
Yeah,
Grip.
he's a little bit of everything. Adam, you go.
Yeah, I'm Adam Dugan. I am a producer on MOMO, and then also randomly joined Seth looking for Bigfoot.
Brandon?
I'm Brandon Dalo, and I compose all the music for Small Town Monsters.
And together we are Small Town Monsters! Woo!
I got
half our audience just left.
Yeah.
Just left.
Wow.
They're all out of the live
I
feed.
just left.
All right, so
favorite monster question.
Yeah, we have a favorite monster question, but I feel like we need to go back to the. I feel like we need to go back
We can get that one.
to that thread. Yeah,
Let's do the thread when it dies down, because a lot of people are asking stuff in real time.
So when it dies down, yeah, you're right. Okay, so the first question actually came from Jeremiah. What is the one monster you wish you could go after if you had unlimited funding? Thanks for all you do. So,
out of the country.
Loch Ness Monster, maybe?
Yeah.
Like, if we could get a submarine and go do something about the Loch Ness Monster, I'd be
Nice to go to Scotland.
I'd be all about that.
Luxury flight to Scotland.
Luxury, put us on a luxury plane to Scotland. We'll go do that.
Luxury hotel.
Luxury hotel.
What about the Yowie?
The Yowie would be cool. There's the Yeren in China.
Oh yes.
We could visit the Suicide Forest while we were there. Check that out. That could be kind of neat.
That's in Japan.
There's a lot over there. That's in Japan. Sorry, my bad.
Come on.
I might kill myself. Then. If I
Beast
go
of
together.
Jevedon? Like, someone actually asked me if we would consider doing, like, a Beast of Jevedon, like, kind of retrospective, similar to what we're going to do about the Bell Witch. I'd be up for that. So those are all. I really want to make this on the trail of UFOs, which is entirely about UFOs around the United States, and that's a fairly large project that I'm not 100% sure I'll be able to do. So that's kind of a dream project. Is that all our answers? Adam, Brandon, did you guys want to jump in on that?
I think you covered most of them, man.
What about Tasmanian tiger? That's not necessarily like a cryptid, but I think that would be pretty cool because I think we'd have a chance. Not saying we don't have a chance finding Bigfoot. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
A what?
Looks like we got a skeptic in the group.
What did he say?
Tasmanian tiger?
I'm not going near a tiger. You go hunt a tiger, Adam.
What about that bat squatch?
Are they?
What about that one, though? That's the one.
We are real quick. As long as we're updating, and I'm not sure this is to the minute on here, but we're at $1,325, 13 backers.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you to everyone that's back so far. And I don't have names in front of me, so someone's going to have to track that for us and make sure.
Somebody who has the pen and paper?
Leia just pledged $295. Ken pledged $150. Tina pledged $200. So we're off to a rousing start already, I think. Shane just pledged $48. So I should probably not bother reading the actual price. But anyway, thank you. Huge thanks to everyone that's backing currently. Let's go to the next. Brandy said, "Hey, have a few questions."
Are we writing this stuff down?
All right. What is your favorite monster or creature?
Bell Witch.
I'm gonna have.
I guess
Is
that's
it Bell Witch?
Witch lady.
That works. We're going to cover it in a Small Town Monsters movie. So, Jason's is the Bell Witch. Adrian,
I'm gonna go
what
with.
about you? She doesn't have one.
What's it not covered already?
Just
or going to?
like ones. What monster? What's your favorite?
I like lake monsters.
Lake monsters. Mine is probably the Flatwoods Monster or the Mothman. But I really love the story behind the Minerva monster. So it's going to be one of those. Why is this? I feel like this isn't updating in real time. I also feel like that just jumped way fast. So we're at 17 backers, 2,056 in the first. What are we at? 5 minutes? 10 minutes? 8 minutes. So that's not bad. We're doing good.
Oh yeah.
So let's.
Way busier than it was last year.
Let's look through here. So what is the one movie, place, or monster that creeped you out the most? Adam and I have a story about that we could tell.
Mm-hmm.
Adam, why don't you explain our actually, hold on. We'll do both of our encounter stories with the two Skypies because Brandon's got one too. So Adam, start with yours, and then we'll do Brandon and I will tell ours.
Okay, my screen froze. What are we talking about?
our encounter story.
Oh, okay. How much detail do we want to go in? Do we want to give away the ending?
Sure, just like a brief version, not like a 30-minute retelling.
Okay. Yeah. So while we were filming on the trail of Bigfoot this past summer, Seth and I had the chance to go out to the North American Wooded Conservancy out in Oklahoma and the Ouachitas. So we were out there a couple of days. It had some interesting things happen, but it wasn't really, I guess, until the last night where things got really interesting. So probably 2:30 in the morning ish. We were almost.
Uh-oh.
And we're awoken.
Oh.
Did you say yo?
Yours is like it keeps flipping out on us. Like your internet's not loving it.
Weird. Huh. Okay. Hang on. Let me restart stuff. You let Brandon take over for a second. I'll come back.
Well, I can continue with Adam's too. because I
sure.
actually happened to be there for that. The we were in the Ouachita Mountains, and it was late at night. We were sleeping, or about to. Actually, Adam was like pretty much almost asleep, and I was just falling asleep. And all of a sudden, there was this really loud like bang, like something had. It sounded like someone shot a gun. It was so loud, but it turned out.
Yeah, we're almost to 5,000, by the way.
Well, we must have.
We got a Teresa backed as a full-scale producer.
Okay. Teresa Trammell backed as a full-scale producer, so that's our first full-scale producer already. Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
That's amazing. So that means we are already at 4,896. So that's great. So anyway, Adam and I were just kind of falling asleep, and something throws a rock and it smashes into the roof of this outbuilding, this building that they call the Hooch. It's like a metal. It's jumping up another 2,000.
Oh.
Just that's the other full scale producer, I think.
Cash.
Who was that?
Hey, Cash.
Hold on, sorry. I'm checking. I'm trying to check who the other producer
Morgan.
was. Morgan Hazel.
Yeah.
Have I stopped glitching yet? I can take over again, Seth. If I stopped glitching.
Yeah. Hop in there.
Okay, yeah. So we were all cuddled up there in a tent, and so we heard something. It sounded like a gunshot hit the roof of the Hooch. You know, the Oklahoma forest is super quiet at night, and it definitely broke the silence a little bit. And following probably what Seth 10, 15 seconds afterwards, maybe sometime in the general vicinity of that what we assumed was a rock, was a loud kind of a whoop, and then it sounded like laughter. It sounded really like if you walked into like any monkey gibbon exhibit in a zoo. Super super loud. It sounded like if you could put it through a 7-foot tall chimp or gibbon or something like that. It was very unnatural, but kind of natural at the same time. I mean, it didn't seem otherworldly. It seemed like just a big monkey up on a hill, and it's hard to describe, like talking about it without having been there, which then makes you realize like all these people who have these encounters, you know, they are like, oh, you had to have been there or whatever, but it really is true when you hear it and when you realize how out of place that.
It's as creepy as his internet connection right now.
Right.
Right at the end of that, it just started like it went crazy. So, real quick, we got to run through some of these backers too. For some reason, I'm having like a next to impossible time of tracking this year. Is anyone else able to see these? They changed their.
I'm looking at the backer report.
Give us some names because I just can't find. Oh wait, I got it. Okay, Eve, Beans Baxter, Brooke Alexander,
Sherry.
Where? Sherry Ledenbach,
Heather Mosier.
Sean Forker, of course, the Fork Chop Forker. Forker coming in last minute trying to help. Huge thanks to everyone that's backing so far. We're already up to 7,853. Let me real quick run down the levels. So, Ellie just backed. Hi, Ellie. Wherever you are.
Hi.
Digital movie level, we've had 2 backers. The $40 DVD level, we've had 9. $65 MOMO Monster Hunter level, we've had 5. The $95 Small Town Monster Hunter level, that one is up to 4. The Bigfoot Hunter level is at 8.
At 9,000.
9,000. Oh,
how did that happen?
Right.
What was that? Gotta get the bleep button.
sorry, guy.
Back
Get
to
the bleep for Brand.
film executive.
Oh, thank you, Tim Lancaster. So Tim Lancaster just became a film executive producer. We've still got 4 film executives. Let me look. So we've got 28 of the basic statue levels left. We've got 37 of the deluxe statue levels left. Of the Gene St. Jean sketch level, we have 3 of those. And let me see. We have all 3 of the original art. We have the stained glass left, and then we have all 5 executive producer on Bigfoot, and all but 1 on the film, or all but 4 on the film, and then we've got 1 of the full scale left, and all 3 of the cast member levels left. So, but stuff's going quick. We just jumped up another.
Yeah, we're approaching 50 backers.
So we're already up
43.
to. Yeah, so it's just topping up here. So
You guys are awesome.
Yeah, we're at 45 backers already, and that's in a very short period of time.
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Did we? Who hopped in there though? I can't track anything, unfortunately. Did anyone back at the executive producer levels?
Oh, Mark, listen.
Okay, we
Yeah,
got to get
which
back to
I-
some
Hi, Mark.
questions. Tim was the last one I got.
Yeah.
Did someone else back
No,
after?
not that
Okay,
I've
because it
seen.
jumped up a bunch more. All right, so we've got tons of people jumping in here too, which I feel bad about because I'm not calling everyone out. Again, huge thanks to Teresa Morgan, Teresa Morgan, Tim, and pretty much everyone else that's in here because it looks like all these names have backed. So a lot of people saying hi and nice to meet you guys.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay, Brandy wanted to know, have we run into any problems making these films?
Probably.
Everything in my life is a problem.
We haven't run into anything crazy.
We've had hotels in the winter with no heat.
Oh, that's true. But that's out of our control.
Yeah, that's true.
We've had...
Your dog ate the film.
my dog ate a vital memory card after we had shot Invasion on Chestnut Ridge and took out the A camera on one of our biggest interviews. And so that was a pretty big deal. Let me think. I literally
migraines on every shoot.
I get vicious migraines. Yeah, I've had really bad migraines. Especially the worst I've ever had was when I was with Adam in Oklahoma because I had them. It wouldn't go away, so it was like 2.5 straight days of
Remember
just
that drive to where we were driving to Flatwoods?
Yeah.
Where you were completely.
Yeah, I was like,
It was just you and
I was
I.
trying to sleep in the car at a gas station because I had such a bad headache. So there's been a lot.
Deadly animals, like the pit bull.
Oh yeah, I mean when we were making Boggy
Rattlesnakes.
Creek Monster, there was everything. There were rattlesnakes and packs of feral pit bulls, and
We're terrified of those.
yeah, there was all kinds of stuff.
When we did the Bray Road Beast recreations, I didn't realize how physical I was being in the suit, and the next day I couldn't move from dehydration.
Oh,
Yeah, when we were
From
doing
about
that.
20 minutes of activity.
When we were doing that, we also got attacked by a feral crackhead walking down.
That's true.
That was yelling at us about nothing. We had to call the
Are
cops.
all crackheads feral though? No.
Nah. Yeah.
Some of them are domesticated.
Yeah.
All right, so here we are.
Domesticated crackhead.
Quick update: 11,517, 51 backers, and we are already about a little under a third of the way there. We just had Tim just backed, so thank you to Tim. All right, Martin and Leia Powell backed as well, and that
Thank
was
you guys.
yeah, that was a big back. I keep
Yo.
trying to update this, but it's just not. My phone like melts down trying to keep up with everything.
We miss you, Brandon.
Miss you guys too, man. It's
All
rough
right.
being out here and not being
A
there
lot
for
of
stuff.
the $295 levels for the statues?
The statues are going to go. So if you're looking at the statues and you're not sure, we just had that was a big thing. What was that? That was like $500 that just popped in at once.
Woo. Well, we had a couple statue levels back to back.
Maybe that's what it was, but we went from like 11.5 up to almost 12.
Yeah.
All right.
Dude, those statues are off the hook.
We're a third of the way there, then, officially.
Over
That's over a third of the way. So we're already a third of the way to the project goal. That's not true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Times 12 is 36.
Duh. Come on, guys. All right, so... all right, let me read all these highs, because people are just wishing us hellos, too. Darren said hi. Sean Duffany said hi. Brandy said hi a couple times. Joseph Hallett said hi. Randy Hoosier from Charleston, West Virginia. Pam and Mike Feltner of the Ohio Night Stalkers. What's up, Ohio Night Stalkers? Featured heavily in episode 6 of On the Trail of Bigfoot. And actually, as long as we're talking about the Night Stalkers, the Canton Palace Theater is hosting a premiere of On the Trail of Bigfoot that will be followed the next day by a presentation by the Ohio Night Stalkers at the Stark County Public Library. So check that out. Jeremiah Byron said, "Awesome Scary Story shirt." That's to you.
Thanks.
Mike Parker said, "Howdy from Tupelo." Where I've been to Tupelo, Mike. I believe that there is a delicious restaurant down there on the Mississippi River called the Catfish Inn or the Catfish Hotel that I love. Walter Coleman, what's up? Logan Cook, much love, guys. Logan does a show. He's on a show called Fistful of Jokes that Adam and I were just on the other night. Super cool guys, very nice. He said, "You guys are doing amazing work. Let me know if I can do anything to help." Just keep spreading the word. If you're in the chat right now and you haven't, please share the links to the Kickstarter wherever you can. We need to make sure that we're spreading that word around. Ken, who played our Bigfoot, said hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, Ken.
So when you see the Bigfoot on the Trail of Bigfoot or the trailers or whatever, that's actually Ken in our suit.
Oh, it wasn't a real Bigfoot?
It wasn't a real Bigfoot, or was it? So let me run here. Alessandro said, "What was the inspiration for starting Small Town Monsters?" So when I first got into the subject, I originally did not realize that there were sort of Bigfoot reports in states like Ohio, and I came to find out that there were these reports near where I grew up in Bolivar of some sort of upright walking creature that was seen by locals, and it seemed like it was possibly taking and killing animals as well. Someone backed 600?
No, it's...
Oh.
She asked me how much we're at.
I thought you said someone backed 600. And then, so that was what got me interested in the subject, but I actually put together a book proposal in 2013 called Small Town Monsters that was going to focus on kind of like small town monster cases around the United States. So I sent that proposal out to numerous publishers, and it was pretty much unanimously rejected. But later that year, a couple friends of mine said that they had camera gear and wanted to make a documentary. So we took one of the cases from the book proposal, which was the Minerva Monster, and we turned it into a movie. And it's kind of grown from there. I just got a message that says exclamation mark backed. So I don't know who that was. Yeah, my phone can't keep up with all the pledges. So we're approaching $13,000. We have 63 backers and 64 backers, and we are still approaching 13,000.
Do you think we should just quit?
No, I'm good. We're in here for a while. Ryan said, "Hey guys," and he's actually Ryan's right down the street. Ryan's actually been in this office before, so.
Seth,
What?
Sean Whitley just commented
Cool.
down close to just passing that on.
What's up, Sean Whitley? Mom. Hi, Mom.
Aw.
Hi, Mom here. Everyone say hi to my mom.
Hey,
Seth Breedlove.
Logan Cook said Mokele Mbembe. That's one of my favorites. I know it's one my wife would like if we did, but
You like Mbembe?
the odds of us
I guess I do.
getting over to that area are slim unless we become like millionaires
Where
or
is
something.
Oh man.
Deepest Africa. Orang Pendek. I'd be up for it. I'd be down. We just jumped up another few hundred. We're up to 65 backers. So, like, I'll tell you what I would really like to see is to hit about 150 before we end this. I don't know if we can do it, but if we could hit about 150 backers tonight, I'd be happy
We're
when
at
I closed
62,
it
right?
down. So it jumps up and down sometimes because people change their pledges around. So 12,975 is where we are right now with 66 backers. Larry Beans says hi. Louise says hi from Kansas City, Missouri. We're going to be in Missouri in May, so we'll be over your way. Darren said hi. Mrs. Breedlove said hi, Mrs. Breedlove.
Hi.
I think I got to meet you guys at Cryptid Con before. Probably, I'm there. Lynn said Bell Witch would be a good one. The Bell Witch is happening next year.
It's like right past my house.
Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
It's
is.
like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So not right by. Like it's not like next door, but
It's right down the street.
right down the street, guys.
Logan, Anthony, yo, Brandon, what up, dude?
Yo.
Jeremiah, awesome. Love the trail of UFOs idea. Bell Witch is an awesome idea as well. What do you want to see out of a Bell Witch movie, Jason? Because you've been into that for a long time.
I honestly don't really know. I think for me, it's about going down there and going in the cave and kind of confronting it because of all the weird nightmares that I had about it when I was a kid. Not a lot of what we've done so far have I had a really personal connection to it, and the Bell Witch story I just kind of latched onto as a kid. So in a roundabout way, my involvement with Small Town Monsters, the story kind of found me again. So I feel like I'm just supposed to go down there.
I'm excited to be able to scare you.
Yeah, it's actually gonna bother
I'm
me.
gonna get you all scared in the cave.
That's what I did in Pennsylvania.
I'm stoked we're finally doing a ghost story.
Yeah. I mean, it's inevitable. The Monsters is not limited to cryptids, and it never was. Like, we've always wanted it. We actually, Terror in the Skies was supposed to be a movie about Belle Gunnis, the serial killer, and that was like our plan up until not even that long ago. We're over 13,000 now, so 13,551. Sorry, it's climbing again. 13,627. 72 backers. We are over a third of the way to the goal. And we want to, again, like, I really want to get to like 150. So if you're on the chat and you haven't yet, just share the link with your friends and stuff on the on Facebook or social media or whatever. I'm way behind, by the way. Harry had posted shoe on head. I'm not sure what that means.
No.
Harry,
Not happening.
would you guys camp out in a place infested with dogmen?
No.
All right.
I might.
Jason Yates says Jersey Devil, perhaps. So we get asked about this one. I just got asked about it again the other day. I think it's at this point the one we get asked about the most is the Jersey Devil. So the plan is to definitely try to do a Jersey Devil at some point, a Jersey Devil movie at some point. but I'm not 100% sure yet when that'll be. I would say probably. See, our problem is we haven't been able to go out to the West Coast, so I would really like to do a trilogy of West Coast movies at some point in the next, probably following Southern Monsters, if we can.
2021.
So that would be 2021, the back half of 2021. Because Southern Monster starts filming this year, and will be Bell Witch and the we will have the Bell Witch and the Mothman legacy. So, all right, let's look here.
Somebody asked about a link to the Kickstarter.
Okay.
I posted one.
It should
Okay.
be. It should be all over the Facebook page. Is
Yeah.
it on the Facebook? Yeah. If you're reading this, just scroll down the Facebook page or check the Facebook group. It's on there. I don't actually think I've shared it to my personal. Can you read a question you guys answer?
Sure.
So I can share
Let's
this
see.
a little bit.
Question. Oh, it's okay. International Paranormal Museum and Research Center. Hey, small town monsters. Kyle from the International Paranormal Museum here. Is there a specific person you'd like to interview for a film that you haven't been able to, like a dream interview?
Interesting.
Well, Brandon answered that.
Yeah, that's a Brandon
Well,
question.
Man, you know what's weird? Like, I don't know. My first thought was Travis Walton for some reason. That's the first name that popped in my head. That would be super cool. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think, Adam? Let me think about it a little bit. That's a good one.
Who would be a good one? I feel like Travis Walton was the first one that came to my mind, and then obviously you can just throw Bob Gimlin out there. That would be fun. Just to be able to talk to him. Who else? Who else would be good? Bring one of the miners back from 8 Canyon and talk to them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can they be dead or?
Yeah, right. Can we talk to a dead person? I feel like we could make a movie about that part of it too.
Does Peter Byrne still do interviews?
Oh yeah.
Does he?
Oh yeah.
That would be a good get.
He's all about it.
Yeah. Anybody else?
If we're playing if we could bring someone back from the dead, Smokey Crabtree.
Oh man,
Yeah.
definitely, yeah. Woodrow Derenberger.
Yeah. Even like Roger Patterson would be great. Because
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Can you imagine interviewing him and like, because that would be the true test of like
Yeah.
the validity of the film, you know?
Mhm.
Who?
Yeah, that would be
Roger
good.
Patterson. If you could interview him,
Well, we got the other.
if you could be like, what's up with that drawing of the Bigfoot with the you know?
Right. All right. Did you use a lot of drone footage for Terror in the Skies?
Yes.
Our licensed drone pilot, Seth Breedlove, certainly did get quite a bit of fully legal drone footage that you'll witness in Terror in the Skies. So yeah, there's a lot of it. There's a ton of drone footage. I think it's by far the most drone footage we've ever shot for a project. It's probably somewhere around 4 or 5 hours worth of B-roll that's drone footage. And that doesn't include some of the stock footage, stock aerial footage we have to include of like Chicago. So there's a lot. It's a ton.
There's a lot of people backing as guests, so we probably need to talk about the On the Trail of Credit
Okay.
time crunch.
Okay. Hold on. I'm doing one thing. Okay. On the Trail of Bigfoot. So if you are wanting your name, hold on real quick. We're at $14,063
Wow.
dollars with 75 backers. If you are wanting your name in On the Trail of Bigfoot, you have to do it in the next 7 days. The reason is that the series is actually going off to press at the end of next week.
Yeah.
So that is how close to the window we are on the Trail of Bigfoot. So if you want your name in the credits of On the Trail of Bigfoot, you would have to back at a level that includes that credit in the next week. And the final day to do that is like the 14th. So where are we at? Or do we have any of the big levels going again? Or
I
there?
haven't seen any.
Okay, so we have almost all the executive producer levels still available. So if you're wanting your name as an executive producer on either On the Trail of Bigfoot or the movies, Terror in Skies or MOMO, the Missouri Monster, you can back at that level. We have a lot of people that back every year, so we want to see those same people back consistently. It makes us so happy. It makes my heart flutter. I want to see Forrest Hazel. One of my favorite things in the last few years has been Forrest and Morgan Hazel both backing every year. So,
said he did already.
no,
That was
Morgan backed. Forrest has bailed on us this year. We're at 14,441 off of 18 backers.
41%.
80. Did I say 18?
Yeah.
That'd be pretty crazy. Okay, so let's go down this list some more.
Yeah.
Leia and Martin pledged. Yep. Brandy, International Paranormal Museum and Research Center wants to know, hey, small town
Yeah, we
monsters.
did that.
Larry wanted to know, did you use a lot of drone footage for the Terror in the Skies?
Just say
Larry,
that.
I'll tell you, buddy, I didn't, but our licensed drone pilot, Seth Schmid. Okay, hold on.
Oh my god.
Okay, Sam Sheeran's in here. Sam just said, hey. Well, he said greetings.
Yo, Sam.
Hey, Sam.
Hey, Sam.
When are you
Sam.
coming back to the States?
Yeah, for
This
real.
isn't a Q&A for Sam. But that's fine. We can do that.
yeah.
Kenny Rauch wanted to know, any chance you will be dabbling in the paranormal in the near future? Yeah, the Bell Witch is our foray back into the paranormal. It kind of depends. I always think of like ghost stories and stuff as supernatural. So for some reason, I differentiate between the two. Like, I consider UFOs paranormal.
Yeah. That'd be a good podcast sometime.
Yeah, and
Defining term.
we'll be jumping back into UFOs at some point fairly soon. Ellie said, "Woo." Mark's dad said, greetings from
Yeah.
Myrtle Beach.
Greetings to Myrtle Beach.
Living the beach life.
Wow, that's not fair.
Yeah.
Natasha just backed for $48. Teresa said, you're welcome. So, Joseph said, aside from Bigfoot, because we all know it exists, what cryptid do you think is most likely to be real? You go. You haven't answered anything.
Well, that's
Go ahead.
Shame.
Champ.
Shane.
Yep.
Dang.
Champ. What about you guys? Most
I think
likely.
maybe a thunderbird or something somebody thinks is a thunderbird, because there could be just
A
a
giant
really
bird.
big bird. If you want to try it out, try it
Try
out.
it out.
If you want to move
What
in,
about
you
you?
can move in.
Yeah. Just a big ape. Just a giant
The
ape.
mega ape.
All right.
What do they call them? A wood ape?
What about you? Go.
Probably it's wood ape too. Yours is wood ape too. Don't mess around. Everyone just agree. They are. They exist.
I'm gonna go with Jason's answer, which is Thunderbird. I think Thunderbirds are highly likely.
About giant translucent
Caterpillars.
You're a
caterpillars.
Jester.
I just talked about those things on a show the other day.
Really?
Man, yeah.
My handy answer. I interrupted him.
We just jumped up over, so we're at 15,000 now, off of 85 backers.
Heck yeah.
So let's keep going. Jerry said, whoop, there it was. That was Adam Dugan. Joe said, Sam Sheeran, hi. Ronald Robinson, is this guy on dial-up? Zing. It's probably us more than either of you guys, because with this much bandwidth we're pulling from, plus I'm running all these questions. Let me look. Ellie says, sick shirt. Everyone's complimenting
Thanks.
Jason on his shirt.
Oh.
Sam Sheeran said, hey again.
Yeah.
My running water has to walk in.
Are people just writing jokes?
Yeah, apparently. Evans Bailey says, would you all consider making a film about the siege at Hanobia?
No.
Probably not.
Sounds cool.
I don't know what that is.
I mean, it's close. It's actually close to the Watchjaws, so it's a very interesting story. I'm also not sure that the family would want to be involved in that one. So maybe not. Momo, someone's excited about that one. Mark Rochelle says, "Hi, Andy." I'm all the way back at backer number 30. This is how far we are down the. Howdy from Buckeye Bigfoot Research.
I don't think you read that.
Ed Weiland. Let me look here. Chris Buttonbaugh just pledged with my wife Monica at the MOMO level. Looking forward to all these films. Best of luck in 2019.
So did your dog have nightmares?
So did my dog have nightmares?
After eating the...
He has nightmares regardless.
He has consistent
very
nightmares.
sensitive.
Yeah, he's a consistent. He's a very frightened young man. Shane Young was backer number 15. Todd Schools was backer number 17. Elizabeth Young, amazing to see the support. Daniel Marlette said sumatriptan. I take it, Dan. When I was in Ouachitas, Adam would back me up on this. I took like 5 pills in a day and a half, and it did nothing.
That can't be good.
It's great for your. It's great for your health, especially when it's so hot you can hardly breathe.
Specify what kind of pills.
You just sweat it right back out.
Sumatriptan. This guy texted it.
I thought you were just saying pills.
No, I didn't. I'm not talking about taking drugs. John Winterbauer says, I'm pledged. Really looking forward to these flicks. Brandy says, you guys got my support. Boom, 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 boom. I'm not sure what that means. That might be racist.
Right, I don't think...
I don't think that's a good...
Which one?
Let's just pretend it's a
Let's just move on to the next show. Is the first level the only way to get an advanced digital copy of On the Trail of Bigfoot? No, you can get the advanced digital copy of On the Trail of Bigfoot probably with all levels. I just didn't add it. Well, you got the first level, which is the digital level, and then all. So pretty much any level should come with
any level that includes On the Trail of Bigfoot will include a digital copy of it.
Any level that includes On the Trail of Bigfoot will include a digital copy. So just the levels that include it, and then that first level. Adrian was giving me the eyes on that one, like
That
that's.
was the bad question.
Repeat after me.
Show me the nasty question.
Have you guys ever?
Don't ignore us back here. Show us the nasty one. Seth. But no, I'll take you to Siege of Bonobio.
Amy Hoosier said, "Great rewards, can't wait."
Back here.
Harry Wagner keeps saying the shoe on head thing. I don't get it.
Don't know.
Pledged. Congrats, guys. Horror and Sons, which is a really cool horror movie news website. So Ron said, greetings from wild and weird West Virginia. What's the fastest one of your Kickstarters has been funded? I've eagerly backed them all. Well, the problem is, like, we asked for so low early on that they would be funded. Minerva was funded.
It was backed almost immediately, I think, and we were... But we only asked for, like, 6,000, I think, and we were, like, shocked that we...
Minerva, we asked for 500.
Was it 500?
Yeah, we asked for $500 and we made 65.
I remember I wasn't there for the Mothman one, and Rachel and I watched Groundhog Day, and I shut the movie off and looked at the Kickstarter, and it was already way over.
You weren't here for the Mothman one?
I wasn't here that year.
Huh, okay.
Was I there?
That's an interesting one.
Who do you guys draw influences from in the field of film production? So, I think it depends on the film, honestly. Like with and a lot of it isn't really conscious. Occasionally it is. With Terror in the Skies, I know originally a lot of what we had talked about was inspired by very, very like 1980s Steven Spielberg, that like golden era of Steven Spielberg. But that was like somewhat inspired by David Lean as well. So the look of that movie, and for some reason I kept coming back to pictures of Alfred Hitchcock's North by Northwest, and it's not a Midwest movie, but there are very wide, expansive shots in flat locations in that movie, and I kept going back to that for some reason. So that, I don't know about Zach. Zach's responsible kind of for the look of the movie. So
I think that being there kind of delegates, when we get to the location, it kind of delegates the look of it. Excuse me.
He's crying. He's really emotional about it.
I mean, we always go in with some sort of an idea, but then once we get to where we're going to be shooting the documentary, things change. Who's talking?
Before Bray, we had like a conversation about Hammer horror and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, but it's a little different. Like we'll look to a specific.
I mean, we're mostly looking for mood.
It's just the redneck outside revving his engine. No big deal.
Welcome to my world, southeastern Tennessee.
The look of Bray was originally inspired by Hammer.
It still kind of has that,
but I don't.
A little bit, not as much, but
where Bray has like a Hammer look would be like the opening. Santino's opening and closing, you know, like, and maybe a little bit of the animated sequences that Santino did, but like for the most part, I think you know our movies tend to take on a life of their own once they're into the editing, and they kind of become their own thing. So that's always been the way. Flatwoods stayed pretty much what it was envisioned as, which was kind of like a 1940s or 50s movie. Victoria, when are you going to do a doc on giants or the red-headed giants of USA?
Those would be good.
The giant thing could be cool. I actually could see that working as like a really cool on the trail of.
Is that like a Nephilim thing?
Yeah, kind of
That'd
like
be cool.
like there's giant skeletons and stuff
tall guys
found around the United
Get
States.
a real tall redhead guy.
That would be cool for
Maybe
us to
guys
do at some
not
point.
even that tall. Look like it.
Tim said, "You got my pledge. Good luck, and can't wait to see the new movies." Leia said, "Seth, if you guys come to Tupelo, we will take you to the Catfish Inn.
That sounds good.
It's amazing, man.
I'll eat there.
Oh, it's so
I'll
good."
eat food.
Just backed, been here since the beginning. That was Walter. He has indeed been here since Minerva. Sean, hey STM guys, Sean Whitley, director of Southern Fried Bigfoot. I have a 3-part super series cryptozoological question. In your professional opinion, if a Sasquatch were to encounter Chewbacca the Wookiee from Star Wars, would they A, engage in a ferocious brawl, B, embrace and start making out, or C, high five and go grab a beer? Best wishes on your new projects.
Hell yeah.
That's Brandon's kind of question right there.
Put on J. Cole. Now.
That's D.
It's interesting. I'm gonna go with fight.
Adam, what do you got?
The romantic in me wants to say B. I think that they would.
Kiss.
I'm not going to go any further than that. We'll stop there.
What about you? What about you, Mark?
I'll go C. That seems like
C.
safe.
I think they're gonna fight.
Yeah. The only reason I'm saying this is because I just watched Solo, so like Chewbacca being like more aggressive is fresh in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you just now saw that? Because Jason's seen that a while ago.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They just put it on Netflix.
Get with the program. Get
I wasn't
out.
gonna go see it.
What do you guys got?
I want him to kiss. I like I'm with Adam.
Andy.
I think they'd high five and
I'll say kiss and then see what happens after.
Tyler said, "Where's the link for the Kickstarter?" That's on the page. So if you look down or scroll down the page, the actual STM Facebook page, you should find the link. However, having said that, why don't I really quick toss the link?
By the way.
I'll do it again.
I can toss it into this. Oh, you have been?
Yeah, I've done it.
Okay,
Someone else did it too.
do it again. Throw it in there just for backers.
See that 16,000?
Well, yeah, 16,404. We're at 97. We're closing in on 100 backers. And it's going up again right now. So 16,555 off 98. We need to unload these executive producers. People, if you have always wanted to have your name on the opening and closing credits and on the poster of Small Town Monsters movies, you can back at any of the executive producer levels, and you are you're going to get that. You will get that.
You're in it.
You're in.
You want to try it out?
You're in.
Try it out. You want to move in? You can move in.
Let's talk about the crew members.
Oh yeah, we have the crew. So we did add a level called the crew member level this year, or no, the cast member level. At the cast member level, we will actually bring you out here, and you will be included in one of the centerpiece of the film. You're going to be a part of that scene. You will get to be a part of that scene, and I can say there are going to be some special guests that are going to be a part of the scene that you're probably going to be super stoked about, but I can't really say who yet either. Adam, back me up on that. There it is.
Cool. Very, very special. Very special.
So the crew member level includes a trip to Ohio, 2 nights, possibly more. Once we get the schedule down, it might be 3 nights, but it would be 2 nights here, and you would actually be going out in the woods with us for one of the key sort of recreations. Andrew,
100 backers.
we just did 100 backers, so
Hell yeah.
we're at $16,897, and we are rolling forward. Let me look here. So, Teresa said hi to my mom. Sherry's really excited about the Bell Witch. This Dave guy has another question I don't understand.
Is it nasty?
How is King and Karasa?
Yeah.
Well, of course.
Obviously. Mark says, cheer up, Andy. Lynn Lehman says she'll be the witch if you need one. Lynn, you're too pretty. It just won't work. Is the town of Bell Witch supposed to be cursed?
Jason.
You do the math.
Brandon, you want to hop in on that one?
I don't know the story well enough about to know the town and all that.
Okay.
I know about the cave and the
Yeah,
house
it's supposed
and
to be first and the location of the house.
I mean, it was the family. That the
I know all about the farm and everything, but I don't know about the town.
Okay.
It's a BP now. Just a cursed BP.
Jason's dropping the link into the comments too. So if you're still looking for the page, the Kickstarter page, it's in there. Susan said hi to all from Marty, Lori, and Sue in Hartford, Connecticut. I've been to Hartford. I had some amazing nachos in a sports bar in a hotel. They were tricolored nachos. They were tricolored nachos, and it was my first time seeing tricolored tortilla chips, and it blew my mind. I must have been like 12 years old or something.
And that's one of the stretch goals.
And that,
We'll
make you some nachos.
Or fly you here and give you nachos.
How about a Spring Heel Jack documentary? I'm all for that. I know Brandon is too. Brandon brought Spring Heel Jack up like back when we first started talking about making STM movies.
There's a ska band with that name.
There's a ska band with
That's a
that
cool
name.
story. That's a cool story.
You could get them to do a song over the credits.
Do you want to talk about the stained glass? Can you show the stained glass?
Oh, yeah. We have... Yeah, grab that. You can get it.
What are you doing?
We got the stained glass piece in today that was sent by Leia, so Adrian's going to show that off. Last year she created the Champ stained glass that was amazing, that is now hanging in David Bacar's museum. And this one is... This year's is crazy. It's actually it's like Sam Sheeran's poster, but in stained glass form. So we're showing it off.
Here we go. Ready to look?
Am I on there?
Yeah. Well, that's not. It's kind of.
Yeah,
There it
I
is.
don't want to get my fingerprints all over it.
Look.
You like it?
Listen. Look at that. There it is.
There it is.
This is it. This is the only one.
That's the only. So that is one of the levels where there's only one.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Look.
That's one of the levels where there's
Take
only
it
one thing. So if you back at that level, it's one of a kind. So get over there.
Not at all. That kind of makes it scary.
Get over there and back at that level. And then let me see. I'm looking for this. Ellie asks, Seth, you've spoken previously about other films from which you draw inspiration when you're working on the editing phase of your projects. Do you already have some films picked out to provide stylistic or otherwise inspo for the films coming out this year? If so, what draws you towards those styles?
Talked about most.
Yeah, Terror in the Skies is I've already talked about it. It's very much inspired by like David Lean and Alfred Hitchcock and Steven Spielberg. MOMO, the Missouri Monster, is basically like one big homage to or homage to homage. It's basically one big homage to 1970s squatchploitation movies and stuff like Legend of Boggy Creek. So that is definitely, as far as like anything beyond that, I really, I actually prefer to approach things the same way that we approach Terror in the Skies, where I'm cool with like maybe integrating, like when Zach and I are trying to figure out the look of the film, I'm cool with being like, you know how Spielberg looked at this time, like I kind of want to try to capture that to an extent, but I really would, I prefer to do that rather than be like, let's make a movie that looks specifically like this.
Yeah.
We just got a $300 backer, which pushed us to 17,331, 140 or 104. I want to get to 150.
We're
backers.
About $170 away from 50%.
So we're 170 away from 50.
Oh, yeah.
From halfway there.
I didn't want to say it at first.
So yeah, to answer her question, it's this year's movies are inspired by MOMO, and then, but I mean, there's the way I'm starting to look at it is there's movies like Flatwoods Monster or Invasion on Chestnut Ridge or MOMO that are literally conceived as bearing sort of a very obvious stylistic influence, and then there's other movies like Mothman at Point Pleasant or Terror in the Skies that are just a movie that, you know, like we're not trying to make it feel or you know, have a certain stylistic approach that would reference something else, if that makes sense. Did that make sense? Okay. Logan said Crawfordsville Monster. I've never heard of that one. Shane said Snallygaster.
What is that?
Harry said take shoe, put on head.
Yeah.
Shoe on head.
No!
I'll take my shooting house.
We're up to 105 backers, by the way. So, Brandon, this one's for you. Love your music you've made, especially for the past few projects. Keep up the work. The good work. Bye, y'all.
Oh, thank you so much. Who was that?
Ellie.
Thanks, Ellie.
Eleanor.
Eleanor.
Darren said there's a lot of myths and legends with Native Americans. That might be a cool movie to make. We integrate that to an extent in almost everything. It feels like.
And Bray and Terror.
Terror pretty heavily will draw from that actually. Todd Schools, do you know yet what we'll be showing at the International Cryptozoology Conference in April? I do. I don't know if I'm allowed to say because he hasn't announced it for some reason. But Terror in the Skies is supposed to be playing. It would actually be the first screening of it anywhere. So that's supposed to be happening. Eric Altman, who is in it, said he's excited to see On the Trail. Mm-hmm. Eric, if you send me a text or a Facebook message, I will send you links to check it out. Lynn said Skinwalkers. And Eric backed. Thank you, Eric. You don't have to do that since you end up appearing in some of our stuff. Deb Daly said, so excited to be a backer. Can't wait for more Bigfoot stuff. And the International Paranormal Museum and Research Center agreed about Travis Walton being a great idea. I also have a question. What do you guys think about putting family members in your films for acting purposes? I think that's every movie. Actually, Momo is the first movie that won't strictly be like family or very close friends appearing in the movie. But and some of these movies, the kids are playing this like multiple roles. So there's always been a lot of family showing up in our stuff for sure. Logan Cook said Bob Lazar as someone we should interview. The Miners family is still alive and have been interviewed per Mark Marcel. And he's the Ape Canyon expert. Jeff Byers says Bob and Travis are both accessible and super nice. Eric wanted to know, will the MOMO documentary follow Lyle's book as a companion piece? So it's not. It's actually not being. It's not conceived in any way to correspond with Lyle's book. I have Lyle's book, and I've read a good chunk of it, but I haven't even finished reading it yet, and I'm already into scripting MOMO. MOMO is the most unique thing we've done. We've never done anything like MOMO. It's completely different from pretty much anything we've touched before. So I guess it is a companion piece just because they both come out the same year and they're both focused on the same subject, and we'll be retelling some of the same stories. But for the most part, this is something completely different.
Halfway.
So we're halfway to the goal. 17,530 off of 107 backers. We have 30 days to go. What levels? How many statues are going fast? I'm assuming because I keep seeing that pop up. So let me run down this list of names real quick. Mark Hirschberger, Michael McVeigh, the Creative Fund. Someone backed at the statue level as a guest. If you're in the chat right now, make sure you go back into Kickstarter and correct your name so we can make sure we get it right in the actual Kickstarter, because we don't want to have your name in the credits of On the Trail of Bigfoot listed as just guest and then like a random number.
Halfway in an hour, by the way.
Okay, so we made it halfway to 35 in 1 hour. Megan Engelhardt pledged 40. Well, pledge. Timothy Galvin, Andrew Sparkman, Daryl Dersh, who you and I had dinner with. Mark Matsky and I hung out with him out at IBC, but he actually lives over here in Pennsylvania, so he's not far from us. Phil Burrows pledged. Karshner Chodakabras. Jeremiah Byron from Bigfoot Society. Will Hall. Sean Engelman. Newsletter. Vance Nesbitt. Nathan Erickson. Jeff Byers. So I'm trying to get as many people as I can. Eve Peters left a really nice message on the Kickstarter where she said, been enjoying your work immensely. I watch your movies all the time and I bought a few of them. Very excited for this to be my first contribution to a Kickstarter. You are more than worth it. Thank you, Eve. We do want to
That was
keep,
super fast.
if you're in the chat right now, make sure you're sharing the link out there. If you are considering backing at the executive producer level, we really think you should. We really think that's the level.
We feel that it's right.
We feel that it's only right.
We've known you a while.
We've all been friends here for quite a while. Shane Young said on the trail of jackalopes. Dean Marshall Tuck. Question: surely there's a Lizard Man / Lyle Blackburn collaboration in the works somewhere down the line. So it's on the list, but our biggest problem with that particular story at this point is that the witnesses, most of the original witnesses, are gone. So there aren't really many people for us to interview for Lizard Man. So hopefully we can keep, we can find people to do that. But right now, I would say it's actually not terribly likely that it would happen. The Southern Monster trilogy is shaping up to be the Bell Witch. Let's see, the Bell Witch, the Mothman Legacy, and then one more that we're looking at. And we've got some that we already have looked at before that we're considering. So it'll be something. We just had another statue level backer that puts us real close to 18,000 and 108 backers. So we're 38 away from 42. We're 42 away from 150, which is what I would like to get to, like 150 backers. How will you guys be making the flying creatures for Terror in the Skies? Well, if you've seen the trailer, it's basically all computer generated. It's just going to be a mix of styles. There's going to be animation from Chris Scalf, and apparently he's developing a new style he's going to try out in Terror in the Skies that will be utilized during the Lawndale sequence, and then he's got 2 other sequences later in the film that he's working on. The Santino Vitale is doing a handful of animated scenes. A lot of the effect shots you've seen in the trailer are Santino Vitale. And the opening scene is a live action scene with a CG oh, we just went over 18. So we got a statue level
bird suit.
My brother's gonna believe me.
Yeah, we gotta put Jason in a bird suit. And
We're gonna put Jason in a bird suit and throw him into the air.
Yeah.
Thanks to Jason for backing. That puts us at 110, so we're now 40 away from 150. Chris said, looking forward to On the Trail of Bigfoot showing off the NAWAC's yearly quest. That episode, so the NAWAC episode is the episode that everyone keeps telling me they're really enjoying. And I think that's probably much more to do with the content than the filmmaking, because the content in that episode is really interesting, and what actually happened in there and what they're doing is really cool.
Is that the first time they've let somebody come in, like
Chris? If Chris
filmmaker-wise?
Buttonball is still in here, he can correct me. I think it is the first time anyone's filmed inside X. They were in the Ouachita Mountains with Rob Lowe for that Rob Lowe show last year, but they weren't in X.
Okay.
They were at another location. I actually had to work on them for a few years to get that to happen. So okay. Daryl said, "What about Thunderbirds? Think that would be a worthy subject?"
No.
Probably not, Daryl. Like we're not
Never.
We're not really looking to do a Thunderbird movie right now. No, there's Terror in the Skies, which we just put out the trailer for, and which you actually are helping back, is one of the movies that we're making, and that is entirely about Thunderbirds and other winged cryptids in the state of Illinois. So, I find Thunderbirds like one of the most believable cryptids that we've sort of looked into. So, definitely something we're doing. We jumped up to 18,426, 113 backers. Ken Dugan just pledged at the basic Momo statue level. Bummed there's no T-shirt. Ken, what you want to do is you want to up your pledge to the next level, which is the statue all-inclusive level, and that comes with a T-shirt. So you'll get the T-shirt, and you'll have the pleasure of knowing you've helped Small Town Monsters make 3 movies that you'll love.
And he also helped me pay for my college, so I could probably find something.
Yeah. Shane Young said, could you do a short documentary on the fearsome critters of lumberjack lore? I know it's a long shot, but it'll be interesting.
What is that?
I've never heard of fearsome critters of lumberjack lore.
I haven't either. He left.
What just happened? I didn't even realize. Okay, let me see. What's up, guys? Just backed the project on behalf of Wild and Weird West Virginia. That's Joe Perdue. Nice dude. I was with him in Flatwoods, actually, back in November. Tyler, question. Will I still be able to back your Kickstarter and receive rewards on the 15th? That's when I get paid. So, Tyler, that's total. The Kickstarter's live all the way through March 9th. I think it's March 9th. So you absolutely can back. You absolutely can back for the next 30 days. The only thing about backing on the 15th is you may not get your name in the credits of On the Trail of Bigfoot, but the Kickstarter is live for the next 30 days. We are up to 115 backers, $18,700. Sarah said, found out about you guys from the Monsters Among Us podcast. Excited to become a backer. Love the Bray Road Beast. Thank you, Sarah. And we are big fans of Monsters Among Us. And Derek and I were actually just texting last night, and I compared us to 2 grumpy old Renee DeHindens. And we were considering getting a podcast someday when we're old and our wives have left us because we're so grumpy that we're just sitting in this trailer together recording a podcast where we just talk about the paranormal. Sean Duffany, considering where you guys started to where you are now, were you surprised at how the community for STM grew? Also, what would you say is the thing you guys are most proud of? That's a really cool question.
I'm shocked. I would, when we shot Boggy, I thought it was just like especially a one-off for like me. I wasn't expecting to be a full-fledged partner in this endeavor, but I love it.
Heck just happened? You were answering totally normal. I was like, he's actually talking, and then it just evolved.
I messed up. No more questions.
All right.
Yeah, I'm amazed. I mean, we're incredibly fortunate that we would have been incredibly fortunate if we gotten to do half of the things that we've done. And what?
We just had a 2,000 backer.
Who was it?
Nick. Do we know if that's who that is?
Nick Groff.
Nick Groff. Is it?
Nice.
Nick Groff just backed for $2,000.
Put us over 20.
Nick.
Thank you, television personality and all-around good guy Nick Groff. That's awesome. So we're up to 20,000. It's just jumping up now. We just went up another. So we're almost up to 21,000.
Was that the last one?
That was a celebratory Coke Zero.
Are those levels gone now?
Those levels are all gone. So the full scale executive producer levels, where you get listed as an executive producer on all 3 films, is now gone. Let me look here. So Sean asked that question, and I cut you off. Go ahead.
I think the thing that we're most, or at least speaking for myself, is that we've done all of this essentially just with the backing of the community. There's nobody telling us what to do or giving us any direction. It's all completely in-house, and it's the community that's enabled us to do that. And it's crazy that less than 5 years in, we've done so much.
2.5 million views on Amazon is where we are on that platform, and that's one platform generating that many views, and that view count is comparable to some television shows on major networks that are made for hundreds of thousands of dollars. And we are essentially ignored by major networks and stuff like that. So keep that in mind. The money that comes in through the Kickstarters is how we're able to actually do what we're doing. So when people watch our stuff and they say, I don't know how, like you guys haven't been picked up by a network, or how, like how good the content is compared to what's on television, it's because we are actually able to control what we're doing rather than putting it in the hands of some crazy network that's going to want us to run through the woods with flashlights looking for ghosts and goblins. We'd rather make movies about the people who've actually experienced these things. And then if we can find some stuff along the way, that's awesome. What is the thing you guys are most proud of?
I'm just proud that I get to make every movie we make, and then looking back, like it's weird because you don't realize it until I think recently. Didn't you send me an IMDb page? And just seeing all the work we've done in such a small amount of time, and being able to do this with two of my best friends is amazing. I'm proud of that.
Yeah, and it took a couple years to realize, but when Seth, Zach, and I first met, we were hanging out in late night diners, kind of fantasizing about making movies, and it's kind of strange that I didn't realize it at first, but a couple of years in, the whole thing came true.
Yeah.
I'm probably most proud of. That's a strange. I've never thought about
what we're proud of,
like with the. Well, it was a follow up question to like what we think of like the community. Brandon, why don't you jump in on this?
I think what was the first part of the question? It was
how surprised are you? Because you've been here since the beginning, so like how surprised are you? And then Adam, answer after him because you're newer to the game. It'd be interesting to hear your take on it.
I've always been consistently surprised by STM. Like even in the beginning, I think the first major thing was the Minerva Monster screening, the first one down in Minerva. It was like seeing the lines down the block and just all of the enthusiasm, and like the grocery store making cakes, and just like I was just blown away then. And it's consistently been the same thing. The next, Beast of Whitehall was the next one, and we, sold out the whatever the venue up there was, like had 500 people. And people were telling us like they haven't seen an event draw that many people in the town. Like it's always consistently been that way. And I'm not trying to say like, oh, we're the stuff or anything. I'm just I've always just been amazed. Like I'm just like, oh yeah, like we just launched a Kickstarter and we just paid $20,000 in the last hour or whatever. So it's always been but I think it's like Jason was saying, it's a representation of our community and the people that support us. Yeah.
You're the stuff, Brandon.
You're the stuff,
man.
Adam, hop in.
Yeah, I think my perspective is probably a little different, only because I was kind of on the other end of like the previous Kickstarters, things like that. Just kind of a fan, more or less. And I remember backing Minerva back in the day and just thinking that was the coolest thing ever, because a company was actually doing like just telling people stories without any embellishment or just over the top kind of, just blowing things out of proportion, I think, or not out of proportion, but making things bigger than they needed to be. It was always reenactments on every TV show you saw. It was always just less about the people and more about like the shock factor. But I think too that the now being a part of Small Town Monsters, having seen where it started back in the Minerva days now, and seeing how much work has gone into it, and like you guys said, how much the community gets behind it. Like I feel like the feelings I had wanting something like this was shared by a lot of people, and you're seeing that now, kind of year after year with these projects. People love it, and I think it's a testament to like that part of the community, how much they want to support, people doing good work and telling people stories, because I think ultimately like that's what it's about. We all like hearing for lack of a better word, like monster stories. It's fun, and Small Town Monsters tells them really well.
We got another guest. Just for anyone in the room, in the chat, if you're pledging and you're not logging in or setting up an account on Kickstarter, make sure you're entering a backer name, because in the next 7 days we're going to take that name and we're going to use that as your name in the credits of On the Trail of Bigfoot. And I'm going to send a message this week just to confirm everyone's name, like the name they want in the credits for On the Trail of Bigfoot. But just make sure you're entering a name if you can. So the pride thing, I don't know. I'm probably most proud of I thought about this a lot because of I've probably been around Mark Matsky more in the last 6 months than I was for the first 2 years we knew each other or something.
Yeah.
And then Brandon moved to Los Angeles, and Brandon was like my other half for the first few years of doing this. And then Adam came onto the picture, and then Zach and Jason are literally my oldest friends. Like there's honestly no one in my life that I'm friends with that I've known longer than those guys. So this group of people, and then my family becoming a part of it, like Adrian's producing everything, and Tommy gets drug along on trips and stuff.
He'll get in one eventually.
He'll show up in one eventually. Like, I think at this point, the thing I'm most proud of is how we've integrated all these people that are part of my life into the process. Like, even Shannon LeGros getting drug along to Adams County and then stuck in On the Trail of Bigfoot is kind of funny. But I was with. There's two events that I think are always going to stick with me as being really important in STM. One was filming with Zach and Jason in Flatwoods, and I don't know why this is, but it was me, Zach, and Jason filming in Flatwoods, and there was a moment outside the Flatwoods Museum, which used to be in an outlet mall. We were loading all our camera gear in the car, and Jason asked if we were going to be coming back for some reason to film for another weekend, and I realized at that moment how much I actually looked forward to doing something like that, like filming, and that's my job. And I had spent 8 straight years, almost 10 straight years, doing medical billing, and I hated every minute of it. And I realized I was excited to do something that was a job. So that was one of the moments. And then the other was being with, I don't know why this is either, but being with Brandon, Adam, and Shannon in December was one of the highlights of my all of 2018 for me. Because I was there with Adam, we've become really good friends, even though we've only hung out now 4 or 5 times. But I got to be with Adam. I was with Brandon, who I only got to be with, I think, 2 other times this year, 3 other times. We didn't get to really spend much time together. And then we had Shannon, and the 4 of us clicked so well. And it was a much needed. I was super stressed out. I was in the middle of editing On the Trail of Bigfoot, and I was super stressed out by it. And that trip was almost like a vacation or something in the middle of trying to edit that project that I really needed. So I don't know what I just said. I'm really proud of the fact that all my friends are involved, and that we have a good time together. We jumped up.
Hoosier just backed.
Who?
Amy Hoosier.
Amy Hoosier just backed. Awesome. She's been with us since Minerva Monster. Morgan said Forrest is driving right now. He'll check in soon. Uh-oh.
We're waiting anxiously.
Andrew said, stuck at work, about to back the Kickstart. How long will you guys be rolling? We'll be on this live feed until we hit 150 backers, which at this rate shouldn't be that much longer. So
yeah, we're at 125.
We're only 25 backers away from that point. So if we can hit that 150, I will consider closing down. But last year I think, didn't we keep saying we were going to close down after and then we just kept
Yeah.
He brought up, didn't we have to be out of the office? Or be out
Yeah,
of
we had
radio
the
station for a while?
station's time limit.
Okay, last year we had the station's time limit. This year, that's
We can be here all night.
we can literally sit here all night, and we will. Don't tempt us to
You
sit
can.
here all night.
You can.
Lock the door.
Freak.
A lot of people are talking about the LBL, the Land Between the Lakes horror story. I don't know enough about it. So Jeff Byers backed, shared, and sharing.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
Jeff runs Creature Replica. We have some Creature Replica stuff we're giving away. If you're asking questions in the chat right now, what we're going to do, let me say this during the show, because we did this last year and a lot of people didn't get their stuff because they didn't respond. We're going to read off all the questions. Tomorrow, I'm going to put a list of names on the main Facebook page. You need to DM us your actual physical address, direct message us your actual physical address so we can send you your giveaway prizes if you're one of the winners. So make sure you're involved. What is this? Why do people keep sending me messages? I get so distracted.
Look at Beans' question.
I'm checking the messages.
Jeffrey Thomas wanted to know if there would be back rubs as usual for the backers. We're waiting this year. That's going to be a stretch goal. Stretch reward. Creepy Acres asked, has there ever been an idea you had for a piece in a film that you had to abandon because it was too difficult or expensive to pursue? So I have two answers. We had a scene, a recreation that was shot for Bray Road Beast, based off a witness description that got X'd from the film because we couldn't make it work on our budget and the suit we had at that time and the way we were kind of trying to shoot it and the fact that it was broad daylight. We had to cut the scene out of the movie, and I'm actually just really glad about that fact because it
Wow.
I didn't mean it.
So we cut that scene out of Bray Road Beast mostly because it just couldn't get it working.
My movie now.
Belle Gunnis we wanted to do and didn't because we just were not sure how an audience would respond to us switching to making a movie about a female serial killer in the 1800s.
Brand new. So.
But I'd like to come back to that at some point. If you add hat and T-shirt to statue level, I'll go there. Walter, it's already on. You got to look at the
275 statue.
the 275 statue level, which is I think the statue. What's it called? The complete statue level includes the hat and T-shirt. It includes everything. So if you're backing at the basic statue level, that's the level that's just the statue and 2 DVDs. The level above that includes everything. Sarah just pledged $150, and we are almost up to 22,000 off of 126 backers. Larry Beans Baxter wanted to know who will play Seth Breedlove and Mark Matsky in the Small Town Monsters story, the Hollywood adaptation. I'd probably be Jack Black.
That's true.
Mark Matsky.
I don't know.
Liam Neeson.
Question.
Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's very controversial right now.
I almost made the joke, and then Brandon did.
Brandon took us there. I want to know who would play everybody. Let's go down the list. Andy would be played by that Timothy Chalamet guy that everyone's...
Who?
Timothy Chalamet.
Chalamet.
Chalamet. Adam would be played by, like... Who would play Adam? Brad Pitt. No, Brad's...
Norman Reedus.
Right.
Norman Reedus.
Oh my gosh.
Who is that?
He's the long-haired guy on Walking Dead. The sleazebag looking guy. Kind of guy.
Wow.
I think that's someone that could play Zach.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's kind of got the same. Adrian Brody. That's all right. I can see that. The nose.
The nose.
Brandon. What about you? Who would play Brandon?
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Jason.
I'll take it.
Burnt out Edward Furlong.
Adrian. Audrey Hepburn. All right.
I'm dead.
Are these the same guys who made Hellier? No. No, we like to make good movies. Larry Beans Baxter. That was Greg and Dana Newkirk. Sean Sloan.
I was wondering the same thing.
Yes.
Oh, Hosier.
Is that what you mean?
Shannon says Gene knows what's
Are
up.
these the guys from Hosier?
Darth Bill said hello, Seth and Mark Maskey. What about the rest
Seth
of the
and Mark
crew?
Maskey.
What about everyone else that's here?
It's officially.
Sounds like a couple.
Darth Bill just completed and released his film Paranormal Bigfoot. That's available. I don't know if it's up on Amazon, but it's available on DVD, and they're selling that, so you can get that through them. Shane Young says Patty Hearts Chewy. That's probably true. I like the fight idea. Sean just backed. You guys keep making them, and I'll keep backing them. Thanks, Sean.
Thanks.
Thanks, Sean.
Timothy James said, "Wow, this is insane." Phantasma Sky Andrews. What city are you guys in? So we're in Wadsworth, Ohio, which is northeast Ohio. We're based out of. This is where we're based out of. Although everyone is kind of all over the place in Ohio. Let me see here.
Except not everyone.
I want your autographs. If I win the lottery, I'd fund your next project 100%. That's okay. No problem. But now I'm too poor to be don't even worry about it, Joseph. Anything we're happy with whatever. It's all about the support we receive from a large. Once you get a community of people backing, it really doesn't matter how much they're backing. I mean, it does, but if you get enough people backing, we should be able to do what we're trying to do, and we're already well over half of the way to our goal. So we just gotta keep pushing and sharing the link and trying to get people out there to spread the word, and hopefully we can get these next 3 made. Which I have at this point. We're over half of the way there, and we still have 30 days. I have no doubt we'll manage to do that. Anne Osborne Walls said her friend is related to the Bell family. What's everyone's favorite cryptid and why? I think we did this one, didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mine's still Lake Monsters.
Adrian's sticking with the Lake Monsters. I'm sticking with Flatwoods Monster. We jumped up
Doesn't
again.
get any better than
2248. Is that the new STM office? This is the very elaborate, lavish STM offices.
There's a lot of pops.
Pops. Oh yeah, there's a lot of Funko Pops around.
And Coke Zero.
And Coke Zero. Plenty of Coke Zero. Sam Sheeran just said, "Wow."
Wow.
I agree.
I think he was talking about the stained glass.
Yeah.
Wow.
Kenny, the Devil's Tramping Ground in North Carolina. I've actually never heard of that, so I'm not even sure of where that is or anything about it. But I'm curious. There's always these places that seem to have devil or hell connections. There's like how every town has a gateway to hell. There's also
every town has
there's
that.
always these hell devil connections. Anyway, Jeffrey Thomas # no homage. Now I'm having trouble just saying the word. Jay asked, when STM initially started out, were researchers in the cryptozoology world supportive of your work? Within cryptozoology, I don't think there's ever been, someone might correct me, I don't think within cryptozoology there's ever been someone who was not supportive of us or wasn't.
Well, there's been.
Well, no, I'm not
There's
talking
been
about.
instances.
He said researchers in
No.
cryptozoology. I think
No,
other
I
people
don't think
that.
so.
were-
Well, there was that Flatwoods incident.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. There was one researcher who was
Some people are extremely protective
of their story.
Yeah.
So yeah, and
even
I'm not
if
talking.
It's not actually their.
Yeah, I'm not talking about a witness. Just some people aren't as supportive of your stuff as.
But for the most part,
it's
yes.
It's when the questions pop up. Okay, so where are we at here? So, we're jumping up. There we go. 22, 144, 107. Whoa, it's jumping up again. Look out. What happened? It like jumped up and then jumped back down. It's hard
Somebody changed their mind.
22, 144.
No, don't play.
I love the Mothman story. You did the research justice. Well, the Mothman Legacy, which we're putting out next year, will jump back into the Mothman story. There's a lot more to tell within that story, and we're gonna do that in the Mothman Legacy. So we're actually really excited, and that will start filming by the end of the year. Kendra Reed, way to go, guys! You're off to an amazing start. Congratulations on reaching 58%. Seth just pledged 20.
Oh,
That's not me. That's not me. James Baker, what about a remake of Q the Winged Monster? I've never even heard of that.
Really?
No.
Yes. You have.
Why are you just talking to the back of me?
Because I think you're talking about it before. So don't fans.
Where would you like to see Small Town Monsters go? Would you like to see it as a TV show or a series on a streaming platform like Amazon? Or would you like to continue to do independent documentaries? So,
all of the above.
Yeah, I mean, the goal is to actually do everything. I mean, STM works best, in my opinion, as independent films, like they're being produced right now. But that's not to say you couldn't go out and produce a TV series or an original streaming series that was something that was a little different but similar. And I actually think On the Trail of would be great on a small streaming platform. Like if some smaller like streaming platform picked it up as an original series and like funded it and all that kind of stuff, I think that would be great for a platform.
Shudder.
Like Shudder, yeah. Or something like that.
Calling you out.
We're calling them out. So
Netflix.
But at the same time, like we're really quite okay with producing independent content. And the thing about what we're doing right now that we would lose control of is, for one thing, the runtime. We would no longer be able to look at a movie and say, okay, I think this project deserves an hour and 10 minutes or an hour and a half, or this project deserves, there isn't enough content, we are going to make a short. We wouldn't be able to do that. You're going to be locked into these episodes are this long. So we could do a little bit of everything. If the community continues supporting us, we're going to keep making these movies. So that's the plan. Forrest Hazel just back for 1,220.
Wow.
He's in. So we're up to 23. So that is our third year with a Hazel on our movies.
Is it only 3?
Yeah, it goes back to
Boggy?
It goes back to Boggy. Yeah. No, it goes back to Mothman. It's Mothman, Bray Road, and
You didn't know Boggy?
no, I don't believe so. I may be wrong. Ouch. Thank you, Forrest and Morgan. So thank you to both Hazels. I think that knocks us down. How many executive producer levels are left? 2 or 3 for the film? I think it's
3.
I think it's 3 left on the film. We have yet to sell any on the Trail of Bigfoot. So if you want to executive produce a miniseries that I made, you may do that.
And those close on the 14th.
I'm confused by this question. Is Terror in the Skies going to be your Flying on the Trail of series?
It's a movie.
It's a movie. Yeah, it's a feature-length movie. It's just like Mothman or like Bray Road Beast. The On the Trail of it should be obvious just by looking at on the trail of that it's completely different from the movies. That you're not going to have the animation, you're not going to have the recreations. It's much more focused on a news shooter style of telling those stories. So it's more about getting out in the field with people and actually being a part of investigations, as much as like telling spooky stories. By the way, we're at 132 backers. We are at 23,624, and we are fast approaching that 150 level of backers.
Can you play the Terror trailer?
Yeah, do you guys want to see the Terror in the Skies trailer real quick? We can show it. All right, we're going to play it. Choose file. Yeah, you guys are going to go... hold on, let me see where... I have it hidden in here somewhere.
Seth's file system is not...
All right, this one will work. Maybe.
So I find a lot of connections between Alton as a river community and other river communities across the country, like Point Pleasant in West Virginia. It's got the same type of history in that you've got Native Americans, you've got bloodshed, but also has, of course, the Mothman legend connected to it. So you've got the Piasa Bird in one place, you've got the Mothman in the other, and I think anytime you have a river community, you're going to have more stories. You're going to have more ghost stories. You're going to have more weird encounters. You're going to have more strange legends.
Really from the 1700s, there started to be documentation. Certain people who were explorers, who were colonists, who were native peoples, were seeing large birds. They didn't want to get too close to them, but they certainly knew they had to deal with these things.
Here I go.
Dang, there it is. My favorite, I've said it before, but my favorite part about that is the Brandon song. And that is like one of the first times where I've had an idea for a trailer and managed to execute. Because I feel like I come up with ideas for trailers and then I edit them and they're terrible and they don't work in any capacity. And that was like one of the few times where I sat down. We were together, right? And I said, like, I came up with this idea to do something where we took a song about flying or birds, and then turned it into an orchestra piece. And that song was the first song that I came across for some reason. So, and that song is like one of my mom's favorite songs. The actual like Bye Bye Blackbird. So that was kind of cool too. I had to jump off here. Thanks again for backing, John Winterbauer. Chris wanted, actually, here's a question from Brandon from Jay. Dalo, do you have any solo music that's similar to the stuff you compose with STM?
Unfortunately, I don't. I used to play in bands and I have a bunch of music from back then, but since moving full-time to movie stuff, it's just been, I have no time to do any kind of solo music. So hopefully in the future, though, I can grab some time and put something out. I'd love to do like band stuff again. Again, it's just a time thing.
Chris Buttonball, are the films shot and released in 4K for streaming? They are not on either front. They are not shot in 4K, and they are definitely not released in 4K. The fact is, the storage capacity for 4K for us is non-existent. We just don't. As is, I'm sitting here with probably 10 external hard drives where all our footage is stored. There's there's other external hard drives we have just as backups that aren't here at the office. And then I'm editing all of our movies on a 2013 iMac, so we're not really equipped to deal with 4K in any way, shape, or form. So unfortunately, for now, we're shooting in 1080, and actually we're shooting in 2K, and then we scale down to 1080. But everything's released in 1080. So, did you bump me earlier to ask me something?
I was just gonna show you something.
Oh, okay. Was it funny? Something funny?
Yeah.
What is it?
Nasty.
You gonna find it?
We're showing you the nasty thing.
It's a little nasty.
We did know that. We've actually been using that abbreviation ourselves.
Have we?
I have.
Mm-hmm.
So has Lyle.
Without me.
We're all nasty.
You guys get nasty without me.
Will there be an on the trail of for the tree dwelling leprechauns for the tree dwelling leprechauns of Mobile, Alabama? No,
that's a joke.
24. We're at 24,044, 135 backers. Where do you find the levels? Marty asked. Marty, if you can just go to the actual Kickstarter page, the link should be, if you scroll through here, can you drop the link in there again?
Yeah.
We'll drop the link in right now into the comments, and you can find that link, follow that link, and that'll take you right to the page where you can actually, pick the level and
I lost. Do you still have it there?
pick how you want to
It's not my paste anymore.
I can do it.
So, hey everyone, we love STM and learning about all the cryptids. Awesome job on all your hard work. There is a Lizard Man script being written by this guy.
Hey, I'm not going to ask anybody to do anything illegal. If you guys don't want to, you'll never hear from me again. But if you want to...
Where are you going?
Try it out.
Try it.
See you guys later.
We're up to 136 backers. I'm making burgers. Anyone want one?
I
Jason's out. He's out. Terror in the Skies with Diamonds. You're killing me, Jeffrey.
Hi, Shannon.
Hi, Shannon, again. Robert Hanna said, I really enjoyed the Bray Road Beast documentary. What is the cryptid with the most recent sightings that you've covered? It's actually going to be the Chicago Mothman, since we're covering that case in Terror in the Skies. So that case will be a part of Terror in the Skies, and will take up much of the back half of that movie, actually. At least that's the current plan. And we're 14 backers away from being able to shut this down and call it a night. So let's really push that Kickstarter link so we can shut this down and we can go eat, since none of us here have eaten yet. So if you're watching and you feel like helping us actually be able to eat dinner,
It's the only way we can afford it.
This is the only way we can do it. Feel free to share the link and help us get the word out about the campaign. We're over half of the way there, obviously, but we're still 10,000 away from the goal. And at the rate we're currently going, it wouldn't surprise me if we pass that goal in the next 2 days. All right, let me run through these real quick. There's more questions. Van Meter Visitor Festival in Iowa. Really good times with a crazy Thunderbird legend. That reminds me, someone had asked us earlier on that one thread, and I'm not sure we're even going to get to that thread now. Someone had asked earlier if we are going to make a Van Meter, or if the Van Meter Visitor is part of Terror in the Skies. It's not, because that's not a Illinois case. It probably gets a mention because we did interview Chad Lewis and Kevin Nelson. Actually, I didn't interview them. They were interviewed by Andrew Peterson, who shot their interviews for the movie. So, but they are in the movie, and they will probably mention the Van Meter visitor. Just out of curiosity, which one of you has the Mothman head on their laptop?
What's that?
I don't see a Mothman head on a laptop. I would like to see a Native American take on the old cryptids. We just had another backer at 150. That's pushing us to 137. So we're at 137 backers. Jeffrey Thomas said Moneymaker is doing that. And I think what he's referring to is the Native Giants series that Matt Moneymaker is working on. Are you guys going to do a Small Town Monsters Jersey Devil documentary? That is, again, like that's just since we started doing this, we've been asked already 2 times about it. So for sure, it's one that we would love to do at some point. And we will do it. I'm just not yet sure when that'll be. Let me look here. I'm still running down this list.
Rude. I was trying to force
your move, Zach Baggins.
Into picking this chair.
Mic drop. I may be the guest. Info. Okay. I'm still looking here. So the one thing I should mention, there is a level I haven't talked about yet, or I did, but it was a while ago. The Bray Road Beast original art level. So there's 3 original pieces of art from the Bray Road Beast. The image of them is actually on somewhere on the Kickstarter event page, but I need to repost them.
I can do that.
All right. Actually, can you post a picture in comments on this or no?
No.
Either way, that's a very exclusive level.
Should have brought them. I didn't even think.
Yeah, we didn't bring them.
Really quick, since time is starting to run down, do you want to do like a lightning round on people who posted questions this afternoon?
I am going to run through these since these are the people that are in here right now, but that's if I can get to those.
It doesn't look like you can post a picture in the comments.
Okay, so
probably for the best.
We'll post an image real quick of the original art as well as Gene St. Jean's art. And speaking of Gene St. Jean, I was supposed to be Skyping him in and completely forgot about it. I can still do it.
Sculpt him in.
Ooh. That'd be pretty swell. Let me see here. I might be able to do that right now. Look at that.
Boom. Skype.
Boom. He's coming. So we're going to add Gene St. Jean into the conversation. Gene is actually the one that sculpted the statue that everyone has seen. Gene St. Jean is unavailable. He turned us down.
Well, you did just admit you forgot about it.
Well, it wasn't that. I just forgot him as a person. It's not like I forgot to call him.
Wow. It's not better.
Okay. I accidentally scrolled all the way to the bottom of the screen now. Okay, so Robert, very excited about the Mothman legacy film. How will it fit in with the first Mothman film? What other aspects of the story do you plan to cover? So the deal with the Mothman legacy is to have a companion piece to the Mothman of Point Pleasant rather than like a standard straight up documentary, or rather than have a straight up standard like sequel. I want to make sure it's a film that you can watch side by side or immediately after the Mothman of Point Pleasant, and have something that fills in a lot of the little dots that we didn't get to or that were briefly just explored in passing. So the biggest thing that comes to mind are the Men in Black sightings that took place in Point Pleasant during 66 and 67. They got a brief mention in our film, but that was about it. So we want to dive much more heavily into that. We also want to get into more of the UFO side of things, and then also explore some of the more modern day sightings, and then how the Mothman story has sort of impacted Point Pleasant and the Walmsley's life as well, or lives, I guess, not just Jeff. So it should act as a really great companion piece, and we're actually calling it the Mothman trilogy because we have the Mothman of Point Pleasant, and we have the Terror in the Skies, and we have the Mothman Legacy. And the Terror in the Skies, the final chapter in that story will focus on the Mothman of Chicago, but there are references to the Mothman and to Point Pleasant actually throughout that movie, and I feel like structurally it even resembles the Mothman of Point Pleasant. That's why I've been calling it a spiritual sequel to the Mothman of Point Pleasant. So I'm going to try to... Gene said to add him in again, so I'm going to attempt to add him in another time here. So we're going to try to get Gene in. But yeah, so we're really excited. I mean, and that'll be our first... still unavailable. That'll be our first straight up sequel to one of our movies. So, but it's also something I feel like we could probably attempt again at some point with a story like the one I always come back to is the Bray Road Beast, where there was so much more to explore than what we got to. We got to talk real quick about this Kickstarter, which is currently stalled out at 138 backers for like the last 5 minutes. We just need 12 so we can shut this down. So if we can get 12 backers, we will be where I want to be to go to bed and eat my dinner.
In what order? After.
In that order. Oh, it's jumping up right now. That's 139 backers. That was John. Thank you, John. Go ahead. Let's get into that thread.
Oh, I gotta find it again.
Sorry. Okay. While you're doing that, I'll grab another. John said, growing up in central Illinois, I can vividly remember the wave of large bird reports. Exciting time.
Fun movie to make.
We just jumped up to 140 backers. So it's at 24,464.
I got it now.
All right, let's go.
Sarah Dinsmore says, what has been your favorite movie to film so far?
Bray.
Bray Road?
It's a toss-up between Bray and I'd say Mothman. But Bray was one of those ones that we had that townhouse, and it was a comfortable place, so we didn't have to continuously go back and forth to it. And I think adding Santino along helped me a lot because we would be able to set up at night for the morning interviews. And yeah, it was awesome. It was great.
What's your favorite?
Yeah, Bray.
Okay.
The weather wasn't... It was weird, but it wasn't...
Yeah.
it wasn't yeah.
Bray's gonna run the table.
Really?
Yeah.
What about you?
Bray, but I have really fond memories of Boggy too.
Yeah.
That was just a very unique experience, and we've gotten significantly better at what we're doing, but we've kind of been set in the same style since then. Boggy Creek was for me especially, because I didn't know what I was doing, was kind of like a vacation. A really grueling vacation.
Brandon,
It was definitely a learning experience.
What about you, Brandon?
I'm gonna go with Boggy. It was such an adventure or whatever, It was just like, just being out and getting access to the Crabtree Lake that no one's ever had access to, and them taking us out on their boat back there. It was such a surreal, kind of awesome. And then not knowing how it would work with the new crew and everything just working so well. It was such an awesome. It was a grueling, like Jason said, but awesome time, man. I have
town was really
fond memories. Yeah.
What about you, Adam? What's your favorite Small Town Monsters filming experience?
I think I've been on two. Being out in the woods, with the NAWAC, and then being with the Nightfuckers there in Ohio on that trip, that was really cool. And then obviously going to be a bit more involved in MOMO. I'm excited about that, learning more about the story and all that. So I'm sure there are many more to come, hopefully, unless you fire me as a friend and producer, and then I guess I'll just have to pick up the ones I got.
What's your experience?
What's your favorite experience filming with us, Gene?
Kind of all of it. Camaraderie, the late nights, the snuggling after we get scared by
mine is actually the Mothman in Point Pleasant, although my experience filming with Brandon and my dad in Whitehall is probably one of my favorite memories, just in general. Mostly because Zach wasn't there, but there was a day where Brandon and I we shot all day, and then in the evening I had told them about this burger place that we had eaten at that was amazing, and my dad, Brandon, and I drove like an hour and a half up into the Adirondacks to find this burger place. So it was a 3-hour round trip for burgers in the middle of a shoot. But that whole experience was one of my favorite shoots. But the Mothman in Point Pleasant was cool because it was all of us. We were all together, but we could drive down there and film and then drive back, and that was a really nice, it was a very convenient shoot, and I was never stressed out really on that shoot that I remember. And I don't remember having a migraine.
No, I don't think you did either. That first time that you and I went together during Christmas.
Oh, that was a nightmare.
It was a nightmare because it was freezing, but it was an interesting experience.
Because
when we shot at night, it was awesome.
Zach and I went alone on the first day. So the first day of filming on the Mothman in Point Pleasant was actually just Zach and I, and we filmed down in Point Pleasant, and then that night we shot around downtown, and I met Carol down by the.
You went in there. And I was shooting.
Yeah. So that was my only time to really get to talk to her before she passed away, and I was so pumped up about doing something about her, making her the central part of our story, and then she passed away less than a month later. But yeah, that shoot's probably my favorite. All right, real quick update. 24,654, 141 backers. We are 9 backers away from being able to go to Applebee's. All right, so if you guys can just go ahead and pop in here, leave your backing. We're gonna shut it down. We're gonna head to Applebee's, get some apps, half-priced apps, maybe.
We're taking all of that money to Applebee's.
We're taking all.
We're not making the movie.
Gene, how are you doing?
Good, man.
Good.
I'm working on my second computer. My main computer crapped out last night. I had to take it to the Apple store, so I'm using the one that barely runs. So when I tried to load up the Skype thing, it wasn't cooperating.
Okay, that explains it. Can you talk a little bit about the process on MOMO and how you ended up coming up with the design that you did? Because it's not like the traditional MOMO design. You put your own spin on it. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I've been thinking about it for a while, and it's actually for Creature Replica. One of our kind of interim lines is going to be a bunch of Sasquatch variations, and one of them we always wanted to do was MOMO. So from this handful of witness descriptions, they describe him as having sort of a big head, or it appearing like he has a big head because of the big mop of hair, and you can't see much of the face. So I started thinking about it, if this was some sort of a mutant variety of Bigfoot that maybe was born with acromegaly or a hydrocephalic head or something like that, and then to combine that and make it even weirder, if you have a deformity like that, you may have other asymmetrical deformities, like a twisted spine that would give you kind of a hunched back, which that may lead to one arm being a little lower and maybe having some different deformities in the hands. So I combined a bunch of different things. Obviously, I started spinning off of the big head thing and went from there, because from what I've read about it, there's not an awful lot to really lay down the groundwork for a real nailed down representation of a witness sighting, other than some very vague stuff. So for me, I kind of like that. It leaves it wide open. So I started doing that stuff.